So, I've been a little bit MIA on my Instagram with Wax Strong this week. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of check in and chit chat a little bit. It's definitely, this past week has been a week of growth for sure. I shared a post that I was taking off for a week to be with my family and I wouldn't be doing anything. And we spent a week in Disneyland. Not in Disneyland. Why do we say in? We're at. But it feels like you're in. Anyway, we were at Disneyland. We haven't gone on a vacation like this. Like, we've gone on little trips, but nothing so big since COVID. And so my son, he's 10. He doesn't remember ever going there, although he's been twice. So this was like a first big thing for him. We drove because it's only 12 hours away. So we always stop halfway and stay for a day or two and then continue on. And the first night away from home, he had a monster panic attack. Huge monster panic attack. And then the next day, I sat in the condo we were renting and did almost an entire week's worth of homework in one day so that I could enjoy Disneyland without having to worry about assignments. And went to bed with a headache and woke up the next morning so dizzy and I had a migraine. It was insanity. We stopped in at urgent care, like doing all the stuff as we're getting ready to leave. And that's a whole nother story in itself. By the time we got to Disneyland, 2 out of 4 of us felt completely defeated already. It was a hard night, a lot of anxiety, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of everything, but we tried to enjoy our time at California Adventure and we had fun. The next day, still a little bit of overwhelm, still a little residual headache, but we enjoyed it, and then we enjoyed the rest of our time until the day it was that we were coming home. Friday, we woke up and my daughter had no voice, was sick, not okay, and my son had gotten sick while we were there with a little cold too, which I'm not convinced it was actually cold. I think it was like stress-induced, but anyway, she was sick and had to face a 12-hour drive back home through the desert. So what I'm getting at with this is this week has been a bit of a doozy. We got home and all is well. My husband ended up getting sick too, and my daughter's still not feeling well, but she's getting better. So it's been a lot of just sitting around and just enjoying each other while we do schoolwork. I'm also finishing a semester. So I've got finals, a final today and a final on Monday. And it really I've had a lot of time to sit and think and put things into perspective. So I've been hiding a bit from the Instagram world because I recognize that I was at the very edge of my window of tolerance, and it's probably why the migraine came, and just all these things have been piling up. I actually went yesterday and 2 days ago, and I had a really great visit with my primary care physician, whom I love so much. He's so patient with me and willing to answer all my questions. And he pointed out to me how he really felt like I was living in this sense of fear of going back to a nervous breakdown, which he reminded me is not a medical term. And we talked about what that looks like. So 2019, I ended that year not okay. Too much stress, too much everything. Despite all the good that was happening around me, I wasn't handling my stuff, and I began 2020 in a mental disaster. And then COVID hit and it blew it out of proportion. And I experienced a nervous breakdown. And so I asked him, like, what does this mean? Because at this point, I feel like I should be healing, right? Like I should be on top of it. And I just don't feel like I'm there yet, which could be a whole nother conversation, because the reality is I probably am there. I'm just capable of knowing more. And my body's probably trying to say you need more or new coping techniques. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. But basically the nervous breakdown, like what happens within your central nervous system, is there's too much stress, too much anxiety, worry, fear, frustration. you exhaust your brain and it doesn't shut down. If it shut down, we'd be dead. But it quits processing in the ways that it should. And you can heal completely, but you can also get stuck in this place where I currently am, that it's like this moment of fear that it's going to happen again. And that's what's been going on with me. And this trip kind of showed that. This semester's been so busy with school. I did my coaching class in the spring, but then I did a coaching certificate class. It was the same class, same teacher and everything. I did it again because I loved it so much. So I finished that just before we went to Disneyland, on top of school at BYU Idaho, on top of being a wife and a mom and having a home to care for and meals to cook and Christmas coming up and like all of the things, all of the questions that pop up. And so going to Disneyland was kind of like a cherry on the top, and it was too much. So this week has been very much self-care and reflection and thinking. And my doctor promised me he's not letting me go that way. He wants me to keep going forward. And I agree. I do want to keep going forward. So it kind of dawned on me, there's not a lot of resources to reach out for when you've gone through such a huge anxiety psychic blow like that. It's kind of hard to know what's normal and what's not. And when I get overwhelmed and anxious, I get dizzy now. And so my doctor and I talked about that. Why the vestibular system comes into play and overreacts, and why is that interlinked, and all of those things. So this is something I have now. Well, did you know that physical therapy can help with that? But you can also look up physical therapy videos at home and work on your vestibular system. A lot of the times we think when there's like anxiety, and I'm going to focus mostly on anxiety because that's what I know for myself. And that's what I want to focus on going here on out, which I will get to in a second. But we're told, like therapy and medication. But there's also other options and other things, like physical therapy is new for me. I didn't know that that was an option to help me be able to cope with the dizzy that comes from my anxiety. So I've decided that while I'm finishing up school, and then while I start grad school, there's very specific things that I want to learn to be able to do. I want to stay as a coach because I like the coaching world and the positive impact that it has. But I need so much more information. I would like to create a program to be able to help people that are overcoming these huge mental moments. You don't discount like what happened, but we're not focusing on what happened anymore. We're focusing on here going forward. So for me, this week it's been a lot of self-care. I'm only thinking about decorating my home for Christmas because it's my favorite thing, and school. I just need to get through school. I have not had any coaching sessions. I have not been on Instagram. I haven't even done my hair. I'm wearing the same sweatpants I put on Saturday night when I got home. I've showered, but then they went back on because I am not letting myself overthink anything else. And so there's just this fine, like this world that needs to be developed to be able to help people understand like options and things to help them like focus on and grow and move forward while overcoming a mental health crisis. So that's goal number 1. Goal number 2 is to create a coaching program for parents of anxious children, because I recognize that not everyone is filled with anxiety, although I think everyone is filled with anxiety. We just don't know it. But then when you have a child that has panic attacks like my son does, it can be hard to know how to handle that situation. So I would like to create something as kind of as a support for parents that are looking for information. I also have this idea of possibly coaching teens. So that I'm kind of excited about too. And then I had a good friend that I was talking to about anxiety, and I was sharing like the beginning of my struggle, which happened long ago, but really the harshest moments of it came after the birth of my son. And she brought up a question. She said, why don't you talk about this like in the hospitals before you go home? You have to do like the postpartum depression little course and everything, right? But why don't they talk about the anxiety side of it? So I asked my doctor about that. Why don't they? And he's like, I don't know, but they should. So I'm on a mission to bust out anxiety. I want to know all about it. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I want to know the ins and outs of anxiety. I want to know what happened within me, how long it takes to heal. I want to understand all of this to be able to share that with the world and to be able to be a landing place for people that are also in that struggle. I also want to share the message over and over and over again that you can be at the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, and still be in a struggle. It can be too hard. It can feel like too much, and that's okay. It's okay, because actually you're more normal than you think you are, and you're doing perfectly fine, and your body's just trying to process everything that's happening. So there haven't been much posts for me, but those are my goals. Those are my goals I'm going to work on. That's what happened last week at Disneyland. So starting next week, after I get my finals all done, I will start having coaching sessions again. I am still offering a free 1-hour coaching session for the holidays, but I'm going to extend that through to Valentine's Day because I am limiting how many clients I want to talk to. I want to talk to everyone. I can't right now. I need to chill out a little bit. So I'm going to extend that longer. So it's a free 1-hour session and then 50% off sessions after that if you want to continue on for 5 or 6 more sessions. And then also I'm working on my journals. I'm creating all new covers. Don't ask me why. When I'm in the midst of a struggle city, I go to thinking about projects and things I want to do. So journals, I've got new journals. They're not going to be ready for Christmas like I had originally planned. They are still available if you want to order any. There's the Amazing Scripture Study ones. That would be a great gift to give to people, and even better to be able to start at the beginning of the year since it is like a weekly thing throughout a year. But they're all going to get new covers. I've decided they need new covers. Don't ask me why. It just came up. Anyway, so this is my ultimate Instagram post for this week. That's where things are at. And I just really appreciate the people that I've come to know and that I've gotten so close to, not just through my battle, but also since I have started coaching. I'm very grateful for all of you, for your insights and your love and your support and your friendship. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes. It's crazy how hard things create good things, right? Like hard things create good things. And this was a hard thing, and I'm just hoping and praying that good things are going to come from it. So I'll be back to normal next week, I promise. Wish me luck on my finals. Thanks. Bye, guys.